Hey guys, today I wanted to talk about a Fox News article about Andrew Yang, and as well as a Fox News article about the rest of the Democratic nominations. So you kind of will know where this is going. Andrew Yang, on his debate, knocks Microsoft search engine Bing, which is a joke compared to Google. So I also run Bing advertisements. At one point in time, we were spending $20,000 a month on Bing ads, which is equivalent. I mean, that's what I do. I'm a Google award-winning pay-per-click expert. So just like Google has its Google ads, Bing has Bing ads. And I've always been underwhelmed with Bing, mainly because Bing, a lot of the search traffic is fake. Bing has a reward program where it rewards you for clicking on stuff, and that stuff is my ads. And again, pay per click, right? So you see where I have a problem is I want to convert customers to buy a car, and I want people who are interested in buying a car to click my ads, not people who are getting reward points, who have no interest in buying my car. Hence, I dropped Bing from my menu, if you will, because I'm going to go back to Bing. They have since curbed this said reward program, but Andrew Yang is absolutely right. Bing is there. There is a reason why no one is using Bing today. I'm sorry, Microsoft, but it's true, and this got into a lot of really interesting memes on Twitter, which you can see. I'm not going to go into it, but the coverage of this kind of Bing attack, if you will, Microsoft attack, was well received by Fox News, and they talked about it and laughed about it and thought it was kind of funny, which is a lot more. So their tone and their nature towards Andrew Yang is completely different than their tone and their nature. I mean, they're showing the memes, some jokingly portraying the company as devastated by his criticism. So they're showing the Yang Gang on Fox News, which the Yang Gang appears more on Fox News than any other news outlet. So, of course, they also had to write an article about all the other Democrats, O'Rourke, which they were very concerned that he was going to take away their guns. The Elizabeth Warren, who they compared to Donald Trump, trade war agreements, and so on. And basically, they had a positive view of Andrew Yang and even covered this news story, which is kind of funny. Andrew Yang, no one uses Bing anymore. Bing minding, and this is on Fox News, by the way. So Fox News is promoting Andrew Yang at people on Twitter. So fascinating, but nonetheless quite interesting, I would say. The other key component is not necessarily how they treat Andrew Yang, but how they treat the rest of the Democratic candidates, which I will show you an article on, and it is not in a nice way. I think why they like Andrew Yang is he is a businessman, and Fox News is all about that business, right? And when you talk about ideas, universal basic income obviously it's more acceptable to Republicans than, let's say, a Bernie Sanders plan for universal health care, universal homing, universal tuition, and universal schooling. And as I said before, Andrew Yang has a plan to pay for it. Yes, it is a tax, and no one likes, Fox News does not like taxes very much. And I have been very specific that I think that it's kind of like I'm a small business, I make money, I pay taxes, and they go to places I don't want them to go. Small business should give back to the community. I very much believe in that, but I should give back to charities I care about. For me, it would be animal shelters, which I do give back, and we volunteer there all the time. We fostered 11 dogs and 3 cats since that time period. And fostering animals are very, very difficult to deal with emotionally, and they tend to have lots of disease, as it turns out, as I had to get my carpet replaced. But those are the charities I care about. So instead of like donating money to the not donating money, paying money to the government, and then the government chooses, okay, we're going to donate money here, we're going to donate money here, we're going to build this road. I would rather have me pay for things I wanted to buy, and then I would pay a higher tax because I buy more stuff. So in terms of who should pay more, it should be the people with the ability to pay more, and the people when you have a sales tax like Andrew Yang is proposing. That will definitely afflict if you buy something that you don't need or something that not everyone has. So the more expensive my home, the more tax I pay. It's really that simple. And if I decide to buy a yacht and you don't decide to buy a yacht, then I will pay more tax than you because I've bought an item that you have no interest in buying. A luxury good, right? So when you talk about the other plans, I don't really see how they are going to pay for it. In terms of universal income, there's at least it's not a retro. So student loan forgiveness is retro to 50 plus years. So you're not just dealing with, okay, we did universal basic income, here's $1,000 for everyone, it costs this much money. You're dealing with 20, 25, 30 years of debt. No, you're not going to be able to handle that in 4 years. You're trying to pay 30 years of debt in 4 years. That's impossible. Even if we taxed everyone 80%, I don't think we have enough money to pay off the student loan crisis right now. It's a huge deal. I agree. But a lot of my friends, I went to NYU. I went to William & Mary Law School. It's a top law school. It's actually the nation's first law school. So unfortunately not an Ivy League law school, but nonetheless a top law school. And I have a lot of friends who are holding on to debt because they have better things to do with their money. As someone who owns a small business, let me tell you the truth about debt. If your debt is 6.8%, which is student loans, but you can make 10 to 20% a year on investments, whatever the investments may be, real estate. And when you're wealthier, wealthier people. So you have the opportunity to do better investments. Bernie Madoff, I think, promised 12% a year. Now, of course, we realize that was a scam, but I'm just using this percentage as an example. If there was a investment where you would make 12%, then you would never pay your student loans off. You would just pay the bare minimal because you're going to gain 5.2%, right? Does that make sense? And I can tell you, as you get wealthier and wealthier, there are better and better investments. As I've mentioned, I tutor Tillman Fertitta's youngest son. I tutored him to go to high school. He owns the Houston Rockets, Landry's. He's a billionaire, right? Probably the richest guy in Houston. And the investment opportunities for him are much greater than 6.8%, and I'll just leave it at that. Now, some of them seem the Houston Rockets themselves are investment, right? What was that, $2 billion? But when he sells it, it'll be more. The same with the Nets. The Nets owner was one of the worst owners in history, the Russian guy, and now he sold it to a Chinese guy for far more than he bought it for. So that percentage is massive. We're talking about 80% increase in 7 years or something like that for the Nets. You would never pay off your 6.8% if you had 80% available to you, right? Or let's call it 10.2 or 12% available to you. So Andrew Yang is viewed very favorably by Fox News compared to the other candidates, especially Elizabeth Warren. They don't view her very well. And I get why. A lot of you might think it's because they take Andrew Yang kind of as a joke, maybe. They're not afraid of him, so they can heave praise on him. But I don't see it that way. I see it more as a Republican would see it, that some of these other candidates are just crazy. And Beto, he lost in Texas. He was not a... people still have his bumper sticker in Houston. Houston is a Democratic city, meaning that it votes Democrats every time, Our current mayor is a Democrat. He's an African American, Sylvester Turner. And our former mayor was a lesbian, a white woman who was a lesbian. So we are very liberal as a city. And Beta was very popular here, especially in Houston. So I understand all about him and the fact that he wants to take guns away. And so he's out there. And definitely he's far more scary to the average Republican than Andrew Yang. If Andrew Yang became president, I think there would be acceptance and more of a commitment to mending ties, if you will, than if Beta or... I know his name is not called Beta, but I call him Beta. And I will continue to call him Beta. Anyway, or Elizabeth Warren, I think that when you look at O'Rourke was even more shameless than Warren. The language and the tone is much more negative on the other Democratic candidates than they are on Andrew Yang. So, yeah. Hi, guys.